Okay, so this is the video from the last video I posted, hopefully answering some of the questions that you asked. And because there wasn't so many in that video, I also went back through a lot of the old comments on some of the other videos and tried to answer some of those questions as well. There are a lot of repeat questions, so I may have missed an exact question from somebody, but hopefully I've covered it in the other questions. If you have any others, let me know and I will try to answer them. Cool. Let's get into it. Okay, so my name is Jacob Childs. I live close to Amsterdam in the Netherlands. I'm a scuba diving instructor and instructor trainer. I'm an instructor trainer with TDI and SDI. I'm a PADI course director and a Tech Rec instructor trainer. I'm also an Inner Space Explorers instructor trainer. And this is what I do full time. And the type of dives that really excite me or really get me interested are deep wreck dives. So basically we'd started a dive. I was in the water first. The dive master went down the line first, then followed by two customers, then myself, then someone behind me. As we had started to go down, I spun around to look at the person behind me. My hand slipped off the rope. I thought it'd just be easier because of the current to ascend beside the boat, pull myself along the rope and go back down again. But when I came up alongside the boat, the lines had been pulled in. And then the current took me. I was talking to the captain of the vessel and I thought that he would then just come and get me, but he decided not to for whatever reason. And yeah, that's how I got stranded. So from the moment that on my ascent I left the boat because the line wasn't there, and to the moment I was picked up, I think was about 6.5 hours. Because it had happened at the start of the dive, it wasn't that I was left there at the end of a dive. So nobody had actually got back onto the boat after their dive when I was lost. So it was well and truly before a roll call would have happened. Not that I remember. There was probably a few birds or something, but I can't really remember anything specific. There was a shark, which the plane seen, but I didn't see that shark. But it is the ocean, so I'm probably pretty sure there was sea life around somewhere. No, not at all. It's their home. I was a visitor, so I don't think I had any thoughts at all on sharks or really anything other than being going through that range of emotion I talked about earlier. No, I was not worried about drowning at all. I still had my harness in my wing, which was full of gas. I also had my DSMB, which was full, and I was wearing a 7 mil wetsuit. And by that time, that I could have got so exhausted that that would have been a thing. There was absolutely no weight left to drag me down, so I would have just floated. I had no plans at all. Um, I was just along for the ride. I barely know what I'm going to do tonight, and I have full control of everything. All right. So, long story short, how I was rescued was I was eventually spotted by a Australian Border Force plane, which had infrared technology on it. Um, they did find a shark, before they found me. Then that plane went really high up, and I lost sight of it, but that plane could still see me. Um, then they had radioed to a water police vessel, who then come and found me. I think there is a video of that water police boat finding me on the YouTube. And from there, I was then transferred to a Coast Guard boat, which then brought me back to Bundaberg. So, like I said before, the plane had seen me, and the plane was in communication with the water police, or the police boat. However, yeah, they couldn't really see me, because when I was rescued, it was dark. So the plane could see me, and the plane was telling the boat where to go. The only thing that I had on me that emitted any type of light was my dive computer. So I was trying to wave that around to see if the boat could see that, and I was yelling at the boat, and the boat could hear me, and they were yelling back, and I was trying to tell them where to go to find me. I have no idea. Maybe they did signal me, and maybe I didn't see it. There was a lot going on. I did see that the plane had seen me, or at least I thought that the plane had seen me, because the plane was circling in a different area, and it was going over the top of me, and I could look up and see the underbody of the plane. And then when I thought that it had spotted me, I ended up being in the middle of its circle, which turned out to be true. At the time, I was sponsored by AUP Australia, which was Hollis and Oceanic. So I was primarily wearing all Hollis stuff, a Hollis wetsuit, a backplate and wing, and I think the Hollis side exhaust regulators, and Hollis fins, and Hollis mask, and an Oceanic snorkel. Okay, that's a good question. Um, Even though I was doing a wreck dive, I was going in at midday. It was a no penetration dive. Really is nowhere to penetrate on that dive, so I honestly didn't think that I needed one. And hindsight is 2020, as they say, and now I always dive with at least one light. I didn't recover anything that I dropped. The only things that I did drop was a 15-litre steel tank, and I dropped my weights. Everything else, I think I still had at the end of, my dive or the adventure. I did also lose the snorkel, though, somewhere in that, I think about 2 hours in. So these days, for my actual dive equipment, I primarily use Halcyon, so Halcyon wing, Halcyon backplate, Halcyon regulators for exposure protection, KO1 hood, and I wear Santi dry suits. So the day after, I was back at the shop, and I think the day after that, or maybe that day, I was back in the pool, and then I think the day after I was in the pool, I was back in the ocean. I don't think I have. Um, I think I'm perhaps a little bit more cautious when it comes to certain things, or doing certain dives with people that I don't know. Um, but I've done some pretty deep or pretty extreme dives since then, um, which have been all good, and I wasn't at all worried about. However, I couldn't tell you if I was going back to that same site if I would feel anything. I don't think so, because it wasn't really the site's fault, but hey, who knows? As far as I know, nothing happened to anybody that was involved. Um, yeah, to the best of my knowledge, nothing happened. I haven't really kept in contact with anybody, either the dive shop or the boat captain. But to the best of my knowledge, nobody was ever fined. Yeah, morbid question. Um, it's a hard one. I guess I didn't really know. Uh, I think there was a lot of things that were going through my head. I would be lying if I said that the thought didn't cross my mind to suicide. Uh, but I don't think I was anywhere near that point when I was rescued. I guess um, my main thought that was going through my head was dehydration, because I'd already been in the water for 25 minutes or something. um, Before the first divers got in, I was already thirsty, or getting that way, because I'd been fighting the current the whole time. I guess I thought it was probably be dehydration or hypothermia. I think that the water temperature was about 13 degrees that day. Yeah. I think I went from being frustrated to annoyed, back to frustrated to angry to probably back to annoyed, and then just acceptance. Um, it was pretty clear that I really didn't have very much control over anything that was happening. I mean, I could see the rescue helicopter, for example, and I could see when it would fly away to get more fuel and come back. I'd be like, oh, there's a helicopter going again. Oh, they've given up. Or then here it comes back again. Um, yeah, I think it was a bit of an emotional roller coaster, but um, I think I was pretty calm throughout all of it. This question gets asked a lot. Um, I'm not dead. Maybe unfortunately for some people, but I'm still here. So the plane that they sent to search for me was actually from northern Queensland. It was a Border Force plane, um, which has infrared technology in it to search for people coming via illegal means from Papua New Guinea and Indonesia into Australia. So its primary job before looking for me was actually looking for boats and for smugglers and for illegal fishermen in the north of Australia. This question gets asked quite a lot, actually. Um, I guess I don't really know what to talk about. Um, some people say just talk about myself, or just talk about dives, or talk about experiences, but I guess I kind of think that some of the things I do are probably a bit boring for people that aren't me.